千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Eric Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I would like to extend a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. I would like to invite you to center your thoughts and direct your attention to this moment in time, to the here and now, to be fully present and mindfully aware as we all ready ourselves for this sacred process in the Tao with one another. So again, we have a table view of conventional thinking on the left-hand side, on the left-hand column, the Tao perspective on the right-hand side. We have the three things. So coincidentally, this follows the same structure as the three chapters that flow from one to the other. 17, 18, and 19. Coincidentally, we have the three things, the three aspects of life that we're talking about here, and we'll go through them one by one. Beginning with sagacity and knowledge. So conventional thinking that may see them as a good thing, the pretentious kind of wisdom, the superficial kind of knowledge. Well, most people may say, well, sagacity, wisdom, okay, that's good. Knowledge is power, also good. So people would like to have more of both, more wisdom, more knowledge. Now, in this world, we have many sources of information that claim to present wisdom. We also see people following them being misled, because those who provide or present the appearance of wisdom may actually be providing only what people want to hear. These are assurances without substance. They are beautiful, pleasing words that are not true. In fact, at the very end, at the very last chapter of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu makes a point about this, that these beautiful, pleasing words are not truthful words. For example, there is an idea that one doesn't have to do anything. This is baked into the saying, hey, look, you are a human being, okay? Not a human doing. So just be. You don't need to do. Now, when taken in moderation, it can be a good idea to stop frantic activities that lead nowhere. Now, it is also possible that this idea, while pleasing to hear, can become an excuse for passivity, inaction, and stagnation. Whereas the genuine Tao would say, find the right balance between the restful and the dynamic, the action and the downtime. Find the right balance rather than this umbrella statement, you're not a human doing, you don't have to do anything. So another factor about contrived knowledge in terms of book knowledge is that it may become disconnected from reality. That is to say, the ideas that are being presented may be outdated. When the book has been printed, it is a snapshot in time. Therefore, years from the date of its publication, some of the ideas printed may have morphed into something different. And even when the knowledge in books is current, another problem is that many people who read them do not actually use what they have read. This is something that I see all the time. People who have real problems in life, they read books hoping to find a solution, but rather than to apply what they have learned, they just read the next book and the next book and the next book. They can talk about these solutions and techniques of great complexity, but they don't necessarily do what they have learned. Therefore, here's the Tao perspective. The contrived appearance of wisdom and knowledge from books can be harmful to us because of that. Actual wisdom sourced in the Tao is simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. And that actual wisdom has the ring of truth. It'll resonate even when it is not pleasing to hear. And that's why in chapter 81, the very last chapter, Lao Tzu also says, truthful words are not beautiful. It may just be some home truths that you need to hear. Another aspect of it is that when it comes to Tao-centric knowledge, the knowledge of the Tao is practical. It is what we actually apply to life. When we're able to use a bit of knowledge in everyday living, it transforms from knowledge to experience to wisdom. So for these reasons, the conventional versus the Tao, you can see the Tao sages think about sagacity and knowledge in a different way. Let's take a look at the next row down, benevolence and righteousness. Here, the conventional thinking is that people tout moral virtues such as benevolence, justice, filial piety, loyalty, and so on. So this is similar to what we have looked at. We definitely have many sources of teachings that claim to present moral guidelines. And we have seen people who listen to them end up being misguided. And this is because the need for reminders is a sign that we have strayed far from the original state of being naturally good without any guidelines, without having rules and guardrails imposed on us. So the Tao perspective is that it can be negative because we end up with much morality that seems forced, fake, and may even harbor hypocrisy. And when I talk about fake, of course, this is just a reiteration that when we act from reminders, it is not genuine. It is not like acting straight from one's heart. And those reminders will fade from memory and they need to be reinforced. In the third row, cunning and profits. Well, people may see being cunning, being shrewd is a good thing because it demonstrates intelligence. And people like profits because it just means an increase in material wealth. Who doesn't like that? What the Tao sages point out is that these can be quite negative because deception, they come from the misuse of intelligence. The profit motive can easily become greed. We look around in the world, we see people who prey on others. They claim to present opportunities for personal gain. But then their victims, the ones who buy into these schemes, they end up finding themselves poor, badly deceived, defrauded. So this is definitely a negative consequence. We see this manifested in different levels. At the typical everyday level, it can just be fake or false advertising. It can be exaggerations that are misleading. But then definitely at the extreme level, there are definitely scams that seek to trap the unwary. So for all of these reasons, Lao Tzu would say these three things are superficial and insufficient. That is why he needs to provide a prescription for the cure that will help us with the problem of having Tao being neglected in the world. A prescription that will basically point to a path to return to the Tao. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.